And so here we are again on the other side of near apocalypse, and so far what we've got to show for it is the return of the Cold War. Yay! But for all the 1980s comebacks we've reared up over the last couple of years, almost thought it'd be time to get further into actual 90s nostalgia by now, or even let early 2000s nostalgia be a thing, but guess not. I honestly never expected we'd flip open the tabs to a new multiplayer game trailer and see... I mean, am I psyched? Of course I'm psyched. You don't even have to know what this is to know it's right up my alley, but even still, apart from the logical conclusion that this is a rare, known classic horror franchise where all the IP is actually owned by people who made it and therefore can be licensed out long-term without running into the kind of trouble that hobbled the Friday the 13th game from the same developers, so it makes sense in that regard, Killer Klowns from Outer Space is about as a deep cut can go for a project like this and still be actually worth licensing in the first place. Like, sure, there's more obscure similar movies, but nobody's gonna be that hyped for a game based on humanoids from the deep, or ghoulies.
Humanoids from the deep. They began in the water. They're not human, but they hunt human women. Not for killing, for mating. Humanoids from the deep.
Jonathan is having a housewarming party. Unfortunately, there will be some surprise guests. They have very bad manners. And they have no respect for privacy. They'll wake up the neighbors.
What the hell's in there?
Ghoulies. They'll get you in the end.
Whereas this feels about just right, though also I have to assume that a good deal of even genre-savvy people under the age of, say, 30 may have looked at this still and went, okay, what the hell is this? Followed shortly by, this was a movie? Really?
Pizza. Oh, pizza.
Well, yeah, really. Produced and released independently in 1987 under the Transworld Entertainment distribution banner, Killer Klowns from Outer Space is, I assure you, a real film of a type that should be familiar to fans of the genre, a passion project made by technicians shooting their shot at doing the whole feature rather than only the behind-the-scenes work, in this case said technicians being the Chiodo brothers, Stephen, Charles, and Edward, a trio of practical effects, makeup, stop-motion, and monster suit specialists who've been behind everything from the title monsters in Critters, to the Arctic Pals in Elf, to the makeup effects for the anthology series Monsters, to the puppets of Team America, to the stop-motion in the recent Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, to one of the most famous jump scares in movie history.
It looked like this.
In Pee-wee's Big Adventure. With Killer Klowns, the brothers primarily took on the roles of writer, director, producer, with teams of fellow effects artists pitching in to bring their designs and creations to life in a sci-fi horror comedy that is, regardless, about 15% concept, 80% how much cool stuff can we think to do with this concept, and around 5% story, which, since this is an indie sci-fi horror movie from the mid-80s, made by devoted genre nerds, is inevitably a winking pastiche of 1950s B-movie cliches upgraded to a throwback-ish small town for Spielbergian ironic effect, because that's what movies like this always were in the 80s.
Wow, check that out. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Single take description, it's Invasion of the Saucermen, but instead of big head aliens, clown stuff.
This is no fun house.
No circus either.
Are you okay?
I think so. Popcorn, why? Popcorn!
Because the clowns, that's why.
The spaceship looks like a circus tent, the aliens look like clowns, they're here to trap humans in cotton candy cocoons for food supply. I mean, work the rest of it out in your head. If you can think of a what-if monster movie but clown visual gag, chances are the Chiodo brothers also thought of it and put it in this movie.
What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?
Balonda.
And your ability to enjoy Killer Klowns from Outer Space will rest entirely on exactly that. Do you find monster clowns doing monster clown things amusing enough in and of itself to watch exactly 80 minutes of it while a movie kinda pretends to happen around it?
What are you going to do with those pies, boys?
Yeah, no, this is 100% the platonic ideal of the monster effects guys making the whole movie. If your problem with every other film featuring a unique set of iconic creatures is that they didn't have enough scenes of that, Killer Klowns is your movie. There's the basic suggestion of plot, a likable enough set of protagonists and comic relief, some light gesture at satirizing the big idea style of sci-fi mythos of other invasion movies.
Dave, maybe they're the ancient astronauts, you know, that came to our planet centuries ago. And our idea of clowns just comes from them.
But overwhelmingly, this one is here to deliver the extended sequences where the Killer Klowns use evil versions of comedy props and cartoon powers to cause mayhem and murder, and look, you're either into this kind of thing or you're not, and if you are, there just isn't a better version of exactly this. Yeah, this is one of those times where there isn't much else for me to add, honestly, other than this movie exists, and you should check it out if it looks fun to you, because it's exactly what it's advertising.
How come you guys stopped here? Good reason.
You know, it was only a modest success, believe it or not, on its initial release, but very quickly attained cult classic status. You're shocked, I'm sure. I've loved it since I first saw it way back when on TV randomly as a kid. It's gotten really big over the last decade, with the Chiodos licensing it back out for merchandise, toys, a whole big section to itself at Universal Halloween Horror Nights, and a dedicated line at Spirit Halloween this year. And now there's the game, so if that's a success, maybe we can finally get that sequel they talked up for years. Obviously, this one is no longer by any means obscure or hard to see, but if you've managed to go this long without seeing it and it looks like something that you would in any way enjoy and haven't, obviously comes highly recommended. Next week, going much more obscure as Schlocktober rolls on. It's good to be back.
Clowns. I get it.